Hi guys, this is Joe B, and this is the Karma Pearl video. And anyone who was going through some type of karmic scenario might like to know exactly what it is that people are talking about. So, trying to pass this knowledge on that I have, and the knowledge isn't really from any books or anything out there to read or anything like that. It's just from a pressure that comes down upon me from being sensitive, and then what I turn that pressure into with my mind and my karate is what I'm about to present to you as a Karma Pearl. And the Karma Pearl starts like this. Whenever anyone is in these loops of karma, when they're stuck to one individual other person in society and it just can't get unstuck, it's like flypaper, then that's karma. And the first pearl of knowledge that always people try to do to kind of push to the side what it is pressure to them for why am I connected with this person via the spirit in a certain way, this individual person again and again and again. Why am I stuck to them and bound so hard? It's called karma. And it gets dark right there. Because then the person is arguing that the gifts from spirit are really a misgiving from spirit because they don't agree with the way that the higher light is coming to them because it's being presented through the kingdom and shown on to you through a solid lens, but then through the spiritual light as well. It's a channel that it comes down through and it loops back around, and I call it pressure. So when this is being placed on you and you don't want to argue with the givings, then you might be taking on karma. And when you're taking it on, you're ready to deal with those givings in a certain way. The first way many people do is just try to sideways it and just say, well, I'm unique. That person's different than me. And they just want to experience an amplification of empowerment in a certain way. But I'm the one who's supposed to get all the credit for the work that I'm doing, but then I'm supposed to lift them up at the same time when they have little droplets of ego in the whole mix at the same time. And now I'm supposed to teach them a lesson of the universal law according to each one of those droplets. And the way I do it, they're going to watch, and then next time when the pressure comes from someone else or I meet someone else, how close is it going to be to that same treatment as them? And what went around then, is it going to come around another time in the same manner to be treated by the one who's receiving these givings of pressure when they're really seeking to co-create with spirit and the higher light the whole time? And so thus they're healing the world in a certain way, yet the other people want so much credit for just being part of that pressure, and they want so much generosity from the one who's actually dealing with the pressure, that the one who's dealing with the pressure almost starts to go a little bit insane because it's just so much of the same person over and over again. So when it's the same other person over and over again that you have to teach these lessons to, then that's karma, because it's the same exact character. But if it comes through a different person in society and it starts to loosen up and you can actually start healing the world from a variety level, not just the same pressure over and over again, then the person who's dealing with the pressure and who's actually seeking the gifts, yet is taking on the karma at the same time, because that's the way that the spirits want to bestow the gifts onto them, is through this one person. When it's going into the variety of everyone else and then the different person, then that person has developed an appropriate universal law, and the principles for using the cosmic powers. It's a system of connecting with spirit, and when they treat people fairly around them, then that person starts to break up their karma, and then the pressure and the gifts can start to come through other people, and then you start to change your life, and you don't have that one prison keeper that holds your life the same way until you lift someone up who has ego anyway. So it doesn't feel fair. So you're either presenting them with an opportunity to not have ego and step through it, or you're showing them the lessons and you're making a creative expression, or you're just expressing the universal law as you see it. You're expressing the cosmic principles as they are here, and how flexible are you going to be with the principles, and how solid are you going to be with the walls of the laws. Is the whole thing based on this karma, and will the spiritual realm allow you to break that karma and spread out to the whole variety? And thus, once you do that, then you get to change your life, and your life starts to actually get better. And this is the way that what I call cosmos, or the astral geometry, or the heaven above this one, has mandated certain people to overcome their stupidity and actually understand the laws and the principles of neutral intelligence. So this is the way that I see karma, and I hope it's useful to anyone. I hope that even in the comments someone could just give any criticisms they have on this, because this isn't based on any books that I've read or opened up or any other type of presentation from anyone else. This is just my pro of karma based on pressure that I get. Pressure that I get because I'm asking for spiritual gifts, and then they come in a certain form that at first is arguing with and saying they're misgivings, but then after I move into maturity, then I realized that these were the walls and barriers to overcome in order to grasp the concepts that were intended for the guardians of humans, the guardian angels, to understand. And it came from such a hard place that I wasn't agreeing with it, but you gotta deal with it your own certain way. And when one knows how to play the game of pressure, then you develop a logical system that actually relates to an operating system in this world. So if you have karma with one other specific person, then that person has to develop certain agreements with that other person's soul, that I'm going to keep it real no matter what hell, when this type of scenario arises, and it forces everyone to be really honest. And then I'm going to keep my other principles and laws really, really honest at the same time, with the other agreements that I have for the laws and the principles that make sense intellectually to me. And thus, after keeping that real, I'm going to be able to overcome those challenges in my life, even though it almost seems like the same thing keeps coming again and again. So it's a whole balance between the ordinary versus the entire variety of details, and the relationships about how those connect according to the logical geometry of the universe. And the logical geometry of the universe is how different types of thoughts and groupings of data are pooled and separated and flow and grow into different expressions of the universal consciousness. So I know it sounds really like a multi-dimensional woo, way, wah, nay, not word. So what the hell? But when one actually goes through this in their life, I would wager uh, sum of money on that they would come to the same realizations that I just expressed. Anyways, there's also a line between challenge in life and expected reward, and the use of the Zen powers and how that all comes in your life stream based on how good you are as a person. And how good you are as a person is really your skills level of actually heeding the spirit that pours in from the higher realms. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I pray you leave a comment. Thank you. Karmic Pearl.